you know how things can be fulfilling but not pleasant? Like there's
Yes.
meaningful work, but it still feels like work. That's what writing is to me. And I need that. I need that meaning or that fulfillment. I need that purpose in my life. Other than like my number one purpose is to raise good kids and to love them and be with them. I figured that out a few years ago. But like for me, probably the second purpose, the thing that I find most fulfilling is like creating a story I'm proud of and putting it out in the world. But again, that time doesn't necessarily feel mindful. It feels like I'm like, I'm fully focused. Like the concentration is there, but it's like on this thing and creating this thing. So I sometimes feel like the day also passes very quickly when I'm doing this work. And yeah, then I want to slow things down. So kind of just like family life. It helps in that way too. I know that I'll have a slow hour most days, like a really slow hour.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure there's like subtle things like that. The focus that meditation can give you helps me to not be distracted while I'm writing, or helps me to like embody the experience of this character. Because like if I want to write the story well, I have to like really be seeing it through their eyes and feeling it through their heart and all of these things. And so it's like this. It's interesting because they're not real, but it feels like this deep experience of compassion for them. If you want to write a character well, you have to become them in some ways.
Can you
So,
get into that a little bit? Like, how do you become a character? How do you become?
yeah, it's really interesting. Everybody has a different practice. For me, I usually have to write the whole book and everything happens and they like, like have their realization or whatever and like get through the conflict. And only at the end do I feel like I knew what journey they were on from the start. And I'll go back and read it and I'll see the words that I wrote and I'll be like, oh, there and there and there are these seeds of this internal journey that even if like what they were doing was climbing a mountain, their internal journey was like, I have to forgive my mom, or like, I got to learn to not try to control every situation. There's something there and it's crazy because I did not plan it. It just comes out, and then it's for me afterwards to go back and like learn who this person is or like what they're actually going through, figure out how that relates to the story, because it always relates to the story, and then draw it out. Like my second draft is this like draft where now that I've learned who this character is and what they're going through, now I need to like bring that story out because it was hiding there. And so it's really interesting. Like I cannot explain how that process happens.
Whenever I do my own writing, I hate going back and reading my writing
Yep.
because I feel like I have to rewrite everything that I just wrote. Like I got to redo it all. And that's because I haven't given myself enough rough drafts, right? So one of the things that I love about the school that our kids go to is there's not this like labeling that happens early on.
Yeah.
Because I got labeled early on, and when I got labeled early on, it was like, you can't learn. And like I'm 30 years old, and I'm like, okay, well, I have to learn. I gotta read, I gotta learn how to do these things.
Yeah.
So I start teaching myself how to do these things at 30 years old, right? Like it's nothing complicated. I'm not a superhuman because I learned how to read at 30 or I re-taught myself. I got through high school, I got through some college,
You
right?
can
So
manage. Yep.
yeah, so it wasn't that. But to see that we can learn if we are given the opportunity, if we are given the teacher, if we're given the space.
Not the definition of you have this learning disability or you're just not good at this, or even the positive definitions of, oh, you're a writer. Then suddenly there's all this pressure on what you write. It's like, I'm a writer, so this can't suck.
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, man, a lot of times it just sucks. Like,
Okay.
like I'm a yoga instructor and I'm like destroying this pose right now, or like I'm not focused even though it's the middle of class. Like labels, man, like definitions that like try to make into concrete something that's always fluid. It's like we have to let go of these names and definitions.
So whenever you said that you get into creating these characters, and when you create these characters, you get into rewriting the story, and it might suck. Might suck.
Yeah, a lot of times it does suck the first time. Yep.
Okay. Well, I just want you to know that makes me feel better.
Oh, good.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that makes me feel so
Like the nuggets of wisdom, like if you're writing, like something straightforward, like I think like your thoughts and ideas are there. Or maybe when you reread it, you're like, oh, this is actually like the heart of this like insight I'm trying to communicate. Just in the same way that like my characters have to show me what is the heart of the insight that they're looking for, you know?
Yeah. One of my mentors, he says when you're coaching, when you're teaching, when you're talking to somebody, fall in love with that person. And then when you fall in love with that person, you'll have a different experience of that person. That's essentially what I hear you saying that you do with these characters.
That's really interesting.
Is you find a way to fall in love with them. I'm so fascinated by the writing component, right? Is as a writer, not a writer, but as somebody who enjoys writing, just not good at it.
That's so much better label than writer. Someone who enjoys doing a thing. It's an action, not a noun.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing we do. It doesn't have to be a definition we inhabit.